been watching my videos lately, you may have noticed that I love audiobooks. I love audiobooks so much, but it's time to get analytical about it. We're taking a page out of Rory Gilmore's book and doing a pro-con list for audiobooks. How else am I going to prove that they're the best? Gotta get that evidence in list form. You may have also noticed that I like to use this whiteboard. So we got our pro column, we got our con column, and now we're gonna fill them up. The biggest thing on the pro side for me when it comes to audiobooks is the ability to multitask while you're reading. I listen while I'm driving, while I'm washing dishes, while I'm cooking. Those are the three major times when I listen to audiobooks, but really it saves so much time, or rather it turns so much of your time into reading time that would normally be spent doing chores or other things like being stuck in traffic. And when you live in Los Angeles, like I do, you spend a lot of time in your car sometimes, and it's great to have an audiobook to listen to. But kind of related to that on the con side would have to be distractions. If you're multitasking while you're listening to an audiobook, it's more likely that you're going to be distracted. For instance, if you're driving and somebody cuts you off and you have to take a second to yell at them even though they can't hear you, and then, maybe you miss something. That never happens to me. Never. But back to the pro side, I at least can go through audiobooks faster than regular books. I just jack up that narrator speed to 1.5, 1.75, or even 2 times the speed, depending on how slow or fast the narrator is at their baseline. I also watch a lot of my YouTube video subscriptions at double speed, and y'all sound like chipmunks. And because I'm a slow reader, I can get through an audiobook faster if I just speed it up. But along with that, on the con side, it's harder to go back if you miss something. You got your narrator on double speed, your GPS interrupts you while you're driving, and you miss something. And it's really hard to pull over to the side of the road and hit that rewind button, because you shouldn't do it while you're driving. Obviously, it's dangerous. Sometimes you miss things, so that's a drawback. But multitasking. But on the pro side, narrators. They're like real actors. They do voices and stuff. Sometimes there are multiple narrators and then they have actually different voices for different characters. And sometimes it's like a whole production and there are sound effects and you feel like you're there and it's amazing and you're immersed in it, and it's so awesome to have a narrator give life to these lines and you can hear it, and it's narrators. But back to the con side, if you're a visual person like I am and always wonder how a character's name is spelled, how do they spell their name? How? You don't have it in front of you. You know how it's supposed to sound, so that could come in handy, but you gotta look it up. You just gotta, if you wanna know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe nobody else cares. I care. I see the letters in my mind. And then, if I find out later that I was imagining the spelling wrong, back to the pro side, I don't know if this is just me, but I am able to read for longer when I'm listening to an audiobook because it's a little more passive. Whether I'm tired or not, the narrator keeps talking, I'm still getting those words, it's a little more passive, so I can just keep listening for a much longer time than I would be able to sit and read a book, because, eyes get tired, hands get tired of holding up the book. No, not really, but you get the idea. I got stamina with audiobooks, and that also contributes to why I can get through them faster. But on the con side, it's a little more passive. It's easier to miss things, and if you're like me and have a visual memory, I don't remember the whole story as well after listening to an audiobook as opposed to when I read a physical book, so that's kind of a downside. The narrator's gonna keep talking even if you're not really listening anymore, so you might miss things, kind of like if you get distracted, a little tie into that. So those are all of my pros and cons, and you may have noticed, if you're a fast counter, that they are tied 4-4. But I'm a little sneaky and I already weighted them subjectively according to what I think is most important, and made the things that I really like take up more vertical space on the list, and you can see pro goes down much farther, or a little bit farther, then con. Woohoo! So this is not me saying that audiobooks are better than regular books. That would be a whole nother list. I'm just saying that the pros of audiobooks outweigh the cons. So all in all, audiobooks, thumbs up. Let me know if you would add anything to the pro side or the con side. If you were doing this list, if you disagree with how I categorize things or weighted things, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, bye!